Hey guys, what's up? It's Marie with Swipe in the City. Welcome back, and happy almost Thanksgiving.
Yeah, we are recording on a Tuesday today. We've been kind of throwing things off. I feel like we've just switched up when and where and how we record a lot lately.
Yeah, I feel like the added video has kind of thrown us for a loop, and then just our lives have been kind of really weird lately.
I feel like we've definitely been dealing with our own seasonal depression, maybe.
How did I not realize that's what this is?
I mean, it's a lot of things. It's like that meme where it asks, what are we going to do when COVID depression and, what is it, my regular depression, COVID depression, meets seasonal depression. It's like, we're just going to drink more, so.
Yeah. So, on that note, today's beer, So I ordered this off GoPuff the other day. It is the St. Arnold Art Car IPA. And I ordered it because I didn't want to have this Dash IPA and I wanted to try something a little bit different, and I like St. Arnold. So what do you think of it, Michelle?
I like it. It's definitely a good one. I feel like
that was so unconvincing.
Fine. Well, I feel like normally we're having a conversation around beers that we're trying for the first time or are standards, and this one I've had a billion times. But it's good. It's delicious. It's better than the other option I had in my fridge. So I picked up a 6-pack from the corner store, and I didn't realize how mediocre it was going to be. So I've had sad beer days for the last couple days.
That corner store is hit or miss sometimes too.
It's true. So if you're checking us out on YouTube, we're trying our third angle of a video.
And I'm sure more to come.
Yeah, we like it better. We did get some feedback from Danielle and Hannah that we need to be closer into our faces, and also that I need wall decor. So there's a guitar in the background as wall decor that I was going to learn during quarantine and didn't.
And here we are. Hey, at least you started a podcast.
It's true.
One new hobby at a time.
I feel like that's a fair thing for me. So before we get into the topic, what's going on? What's going on in your life lately? Or since we last recorded?
I feel like there was something I wanted to talk about, and I can't even think. My brain is just mush. For work, I've been studying all day, studying real estate stuff. So I just feel a little bit if I start doing this, what I just did, where I take a pause and change my sentence mid-sentence, just hit me or something.
Perfect. Yeah, that's also why we're sitting closer together, so I can elbow. And if you can't see because you're listening on Spotify or SoundCloud, you can now
go
to
iTunes.
YouTube or iTunes. Yeah. No one's on SoundCloud except for us.
Yeah. But Michelle, what's been going on with you? You had a date last night.
I had a date last night.
I heard what Bird told me.
And I wanted to save the story for you.
Oh God.
Because it's pretty good. So we'll try to keep it short. So date off of Hinge, we started talking last week, had a pretty good back and forth. And so as we've talked about, I think more so lately, I was I just want to meet this person, figure out if they're cool or not. So we met at a dive bar called The Hole in the Wall, which appropriately named, not Danielle and Hannah 68 approved. Sorry, Mom, but I did wear a dress. So and I washed my hair. I don't know.
And your hair looks great today.
Thank you. It's clean. So yeah, really really cool guy. We were having a couple beers, and all of a sudden we heard a weird noise in the bar, and there's only we're the only ones pretty much in the bar. And then he kind of made a funny face and kind of motioned for me to look over my shoulder, and I did, and there was this girl just sitting at the table by herself bawling her eyes out. And so we're mid-date, and he and I kind of just made eye contact, and I was yeah, I'm gonna go over there and check on her.
That's so sad.
So this girl was pretty drunk and alone and having
That's when I cry too.
Little bit of a solo meltdown. But so I talked to her for a little bit, got her some water, let her kind of chill out a little bit, went back to the table. He's referred to as podcast guy.
Does he have a podcast?
He's starting a podcast. We talked about this.
Oh, yeah, but then he said that thing this morning, so I gave him a new name. But he could be podcast guy. I was just confused because I'm like, but we're podcast girls.
Because you renamed him? He has two
nicknames. No, because I'm like, I'm so used to people saying like, oh, you're the podcast girl.
It's true.
So I was like, wait, did you switch genders or something?
I'm referring to myself in third person also as a guy.
It's fine.
So go back, we like continue chatting. She starts crying again. I go back over and, you know, get her some more water, talk to her for a second. She's obviously like, you know, I was like, oh, do you have a friend you can call to come get you? She's like, it's fine, I'm just gonna wait and then I'll walk home. And so go back to the table and then it's like really quiet and I turn and she has her head down and she's sleeping on the table.
Oh God.
So so long story short, we ended up walking her home because obviously like she couldn't get home by herself. But that was the first time that in the middle of a date, we've also like taken care of a random drunk girl.
I feel like you're like the drunk girl whisperer.
Yeah, I mean, this is the second time in like 2.5 weeks that I've had to like help someone get home. But it's all good karma and probably, you know, paying it forward. But then we had pizza. It was great.
Oh, well, that sounds lovely. Via 313?
No, we were over in the...
Sorry, Luna's scratching.
We were over in the University District, so I can't remember the name. Pizza Press?
Never heard of the bird.
It's kind of like it's like mod pizza a little bit, but better.
Okay.
Where you kind of like just like make up your
like a DIY.
So
good to know.
Yeah, more to come. There will probably be a second date, hopefully without a crying drunk girl.
I mean, one can only hope that there isn't a crying drunk girl crashing your date.
It happens. So on that note, what are we talking about today?
You know, it's funny because I'm actually kind of excited for today's topic. Like I've been like poking around and doing a lot of research. And it's ironic too, because for those of you who know me, I actually really hate Christmas and the Christmas season. Neither here nor there at the moment, but yeah, so we're talking about holidays and dating, especially given today is 2 days before Thanksgiving. So we just kind of wanted to figure out what the hell's going on with those people in relationships. And I mean, it just seems timely, right?
Yeah, definitely. So we're gonna have
Luna's on the couch now.
Podcasting with dog people.
Love
Expect lots of noises.
And Blue is chewing a ball on the floor.
And staring at Luna. Yeah, I think there are a lot of interesting things about holidating, as we will. In particular, just we asked our followers what it's gonna look like this year. Is it gonna look different? We had some fun poll questions, so I'm excited. We haven't done a poll in a couple of weeks, I feel like, so I'm excited for this.
Yeah, I feel like it's actually been a really long time since we've done a poll because we've either like on a whim come up with a topic and like had to do it that day, or like we couldn't think of poll questions. So I'm really happy to get like input back from y'all. Our followers on Instagram have been great in terms of like interacting with the poll. So I'm excited to share any like, I don't know, like intro words about what you think of the holiday.
I mean, like dating during the holidays or a holiday in particular. I think it's always interesting. I feel like it's always, if you've just started dating someone, it's always a really awkward time because navigating, like, do you take them to your company party or do you not? Do they go to your like larger family events or not? So for me, a million years ago, when I had just started a previous relationship, we had started dating, I think a week before Thanksgiving.
Oof.
And so it put us into an interesting dynamic for the holidays. And so I actually had gone, I did end up going to a family outing with just his mom and stepdad and sister. So I did a family outing with them, but wasn't part of any of the official holiday things. And he definitely wasn't part of any of my holiday things.
Yeah.
Or even I don't know, company parties. I always just take my gay husband.
I take a girlfriend to holiday parties.
Yeah.
Last year was really funny because it was a bunch of us that were all friends, and we had the GoDaddy holiday party, which is notoriously a shit show, as most holiday parties are for companies. And it was just funny because we each had a +1, and there were a few of us that worked for the company. And then we found, like, we had one friend that wasn't gonna be able to make it because we didn't have a +1. So we, like, enlisted somebody that wasn't using their +1 and, like, had the whole girl gang at the holiday party. And we're just, like, that obnoxious group.
I love it.
I dressed up as, like, I wore, like, a Mrs. Claus costume.
For somebody who hates Christmas, you dressed up for the company party in a Mrs. Claus costume?
I just thought it would be fun.
Okay.
And then my date, who was my friend Giselle, she wore the same color. Like, I wore a green one, and she wore the same costume and in red. So we were adorable little, like, Santa's helpers, like, sexy costumes.
I love it. Yeah, we definitely don't do sexy costumes for my company parties. Actually,
I was gonna say, most company parties don't do costumes.
One girl did 1 year, which was interesting. She's no longer with the company. But
there you go.
yeah, on that note, let's transition into the first question. So, would you rather be single or in a new relationship for the holidays?
So, this one actually kind of surprised me as I was watching the results come in, just because, like, I personally would rather be single than, like, with somebody brand new. Like you said, it was awkward because you've been dating, like, a week, right? And I just, like, I'm like, I don't want to deal with that. So I personally would rather be single. And as I was, like, watching people, like, take the poll, it was 50-50 split almost perfectly for a while because I was babysitting it like a psychopath. But they ended up coming out, 61% of people said they'd rather be single, and 39% said they'd rather be in a new relationship. What would you prefer, Michelle?
I feel like whether I was single or in a new relationship, like, I don't think I would take someone that I'm in a new relationship with to any of the events.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, I'm weird about that.
I mean, I wouldn't either.
So I feel like for me, the outcome would actually be the same. But I could see how being in it, I think I would go with single. Because I feel like if I were in a new relationship around the holidays, like, if that person was really stoked to try to, like, bring me around, because obviously I'm very fun and awesome and moms love me.
And you save drunk girls.
And I save drunk girls. I'm the drunk girl savior.
2020 in 2024.
I'm already up for re-election for mayor against myself. But I think there would be that, like, pressure. I don't think I would like the pressure of them wanting to bring me around. I feel like a company party, I'd be like, cool, like, I'll network, it's fine. But as I do.
Classic Michelle.
But I think that if it were them trying to introduce me to their family super early on, that would definitely be, like, anxiety inducing for me. So I would probably have said single on this.
That's fair. Yeah, I mean, for me, I wouldn't. It's a little bit easier for me because I'm traveling to see my family. So a lot of these questions, like, I can kind of speak to that. I've almost always, like, had to travel for that. So it wouldn't really impact me in that sense, but it just makes me feel weird, especially if, like, you're seeing somebody and, like, you kind of feel obligated to invite them.
Yeah, I also wonder, with the percentage of people that said taken, I wonder if it's because they're the folks that are getting all of the pressure from their family of, like, are you dating anyone? Who are you dating? Your mom said that you went on a date with one guy last week to a bar. But, like, so I think that it's interesting that maybe they would prefer to be taken to, like, alleviate that and be like, here's somebody, stop asking me questions. But yeah, I think that one's definitely an interesting one.
Well, I mean, for me, like, I could go out with one guy on Thanksgiving and, you know, auntie's like, hey, yeah, like, who are you? Are you seeing anybody special? I'm like, oh yeah, I've been out on a few dates with this one guy. You know, he's pretty cool. And then by Christmas, it's like, oh, Marie, what happened to that one guy you were seeing? I'm like, dumped him. Like, that would be, I mean, especially, like, earlier on, especially when, like, my family was in Chicago versus Florida and I was traveling back, that would be a little bit more applicable.
Yeah, no, that makes a ton of sense. What about this next one? So, would you pause your dating life during the holiday season? And what were the options here for responding?
Definitely, and then no, why would I? Which, I mean, I think I'm covered, but, I mean, I think, like, I would have honestly probably answered one or the other, like, I mean, both, just based on the year, because I feel like sometimes there's a lot going on, and I just don't want to deal with even trying to date. Or sometimes I've noticed, like, I'll naturally just kind of, like, stray away from dating because I'm, like, focused on other things. It also tends to be a really busy time of year for me at work. But then definitely, like, I mean, if there's no other reason why, then, like, yeah, why would I pause it?
Yeah, I definitely lean more towards why would I? Like, I might be, like, less during, let's call it a normal holiday season, and let's say hypothetically I was back in Portland, you know, it's usually a very busy time, and so I might be less responsive or seeing someone less frequently, but that's also just a function of my life in general. Like, I'm not, like, readily available any other time, so it doesn't...
Except for me.
Except for you, yeah. Well, you just show up at my apartment.
Well,
So I think it's interesting that, like, so 44% of people said they would, and that's really interesting to me. It's like, okay, are they pausing because, maybe it's because a lot of it's because of, like, travel.
Yeah.
Like, they don't want to match with someone and then be traveling. Like, we have a friend that's from Scotland. She's going to be gone for 3 weeks. So that's more than enough time to kill off any kind of initial interaction you could have had.
That's like at least half the holiday season, depending on, you know, when you start when you put up your Christmas tree and all your decorations and whatever.
December 1st.
Yeah.
That's my go-to is nothing's up before December 1st. But I feel like people started decorating on, like, Halloween.
That's part of the reason I hate the holidays.
I know, but people need joy this year more than any other year. So let them
You're
have
not
their joy.
wrong. And that's why I've actually been a lot less of a Scrooge this year. Like last year, oh my God, I was horrible. I also worked at a Starbucks my first year in Austin. I worked at the Starbucks at the mall. And that was really where I became just, like, evil this time of year. Because I was like, these, like, little kids are, like, screaming, and, like, it was positioned right where I could look out at Santa Claus. And I was just like, I hate everyone.
I mean, you love tiny humans, so that's shocking to me.
Now, I did once take at the dog park, the dog bar, all park. See, this is what I mean. My brain hurts, guys.
Okay, let's start over. You took Luna too.
I took Luna to get a picture taken with Santa one year.
Oh, I love it.
But it was at Yard Bar, which, for those of you who don't live in Austin, is a dog park bar, which hence the other word vomit that I just had. So it was like a specific dog. Like, I didn't just take her to the mall and say, here's Santa.
Can you imagine Blue? Those photos would be so epic. Blue would be, like, trying to make out with Santa.
Oh my God,
and Santa's beard would be coming down. It would be great. I'd be like, Blue, your daddy issues are showing.
Okay, I would actually pay money to see that.
I mean, I don't think there's anywhere doing it.
We'll true, especially with everything going on. So back to the point.
So this is interesting though, because I feel like for people who like doing cheesy shit, this is their prime time of year. It's like Halloween, you go to
starting with the pumpkin patch.
You go to the pumpkin patch, you do, I don't know, a hayride, I guess that's at the pumpkin patch. You carve pumpkins together.
Corn mazes.
There's something else I feel like, couples costumes. Doing a couple's costume, and then you go into Thanksgiving, and I guess Thanksgiving, there's nothing really like cute. Oh, maybe you like bake pies together. I don't know. Is that a thing?
I mean,
no.
I suppose you could cook anything. Like, you could cook a meal. You could host.
Oh God, it's a lot of work. I don't even have like utensils for hosting. I was thinking about it. A friend was asking me about like baking something, and I was like, I literally don't even have the tools I would need to do a basic basic cooking.
You kind of worry me sometimes.
It's fine. I'm doing fine. Blue's also worried. But then like with Christmas, I mean, typically normal year, you've got all of the like going in the lights. You've got, what else do people do for Christmas? I mean, like in my family growing up, we like made gingerbread houses, but that was always like a family thing. But you have like company parties. I feel like there's a bunch of other stuff that people do during December.
I mean, my family makes lefse, but that's a Norwegian like tradition. It basically is a taco, but it's made out of potatoes. And then you put butter and sugar on it. It's amazing. My mom actually texted my brother and I this morning and was like, "Hey, I think we should make lefse this year when you guys are here." And I was like, "I'm in. Done."
Sounds delicious.
Oh yeah, it's amazing. I'll bring some back for you. What else do people? I mean, maybe bake cookies, like not just gingerbread, but like all like sugar cookies and
maybe.
I feel like there's a lot of cute Christmas traditions. But I'm also, my stepdad's Jewish, so we celebrate Christmaka in my household now.
Yeah.
So sometimes I do get a little offended by all this Christmas bullshit.
Well, I don't know. Moving on.
So, and with that being said, did we actually give the results for pausing the dating life? If we didn't, 44% of people said that they would definitely pause, and 56% said, no, why would I? Which honestly, I mean, that's close enough to a 50-50 split.
Yeah. Which, I mean, I think it's also just being in like different stages and what people are doing. And of course, with these polls, like, we could go into like very, very hyper specifics, but that wouldn't make sense, and we'd have like 2 responses per. Like, if you're in a relationship and you've been in a relationship for less than 1 year and you celebrate Christmas, would you? But
we would need like a survey monkey for that. We wouldn't be able to use the little Amazon things.
Too far.
Yeah.
Too far.
I don't think anybody would take that. But if you would, let us know. So, Michelle, how long do you wait before you bring somebody home for the holidays? Obviously not 1 week.
After, I mean, the guy I went out with last night, I was like, you know what? We're flying to Portland. Now's a great time. Come meet my whole family. Mm-hmm. He did propose at one point last night. It got pretty serious.
Oh, did he have a ring at least? Because no, Mom would not approve.
No ring. I know. She wouldn't have approved of the establishment either, so.
And he didn't bring you flowers either, did he?
He didn't bring me flowers. Can you believe it?
Or a small gift?
No gifts.
Ugh.
Not a single gift.
I don't know if we can approve a podcast guy anymore.
Yeah, you're right. So we talked about this in other episodes, like the family and dating episode. I lean more on the side of waiting longer to introduce people to my family, with some exceptions. So like, now that I'm in Austin, obviously everything is a bit different. Yeah. And if someone is like around or in the friend group and my family's in town, they're probably gonna end up meeting them. Yeah. Which is different, but like a really intentional, like, let's all sit down for dinner or let's do that. I mean, I would say usually for me, it's at least like 6 months to like being together for almost like a year before I would take them to extended family things or to like hang out at my dad's house for Christmas or something. Yeah. But I also don't really go to my extended family events. So
probably another story.
and now that I'm in Austin, it's like completely irrelevant.
Totally. Like, I mean, the average answer, honestly, we put months and then years on the other end, and the average answer was right in the middle, which in my mind is about 6 months, right? Mm-hmm. And so, I mean, I'm with you. I'm like anywhere from 6 months on, if I got to that point with anybody. But that's exactly why, right? Like, because I don't want you to just like meet my parents and then my mom is going to be asking about you for the rest of my life. I mean, hell, she still brings up my ex from like college.
Yeah, there's no one that my mom is like still asking about, like, oh dang it.
Other than alligator boots.
Alligator boots, yeah. He popped up as someone I should follow on Instagram the other day. So
did you follow him?
So y'all, Instagram has been trolling me. So Two people who've ghosted me who've popped up as people I should follow, which I just think is fucking hilarious. And Blue has an Instagram account. Judge me, I don't give a shit. It's very cute. It's at BrewDogBlue, like EREW. So if you want to see cute photos of him pouting 90% of the time, go follow at BrewDogBlue. But one of his suggested people to follow was my ex, who is his former dad.
Woof.
I was like, no wonder Blue has daddy issues. He's being triggered by Instagram. Like,
Oh,
hey,
man.
your dad abandoned you. You should follow him on Instagram.
Oh, Jesus. And here I'm just getting triggered by the new like shop feature, like how that took over where I was supposed to look at my likes, and now I'm just like, the last thing I needed was Instagram making it easier for me to shop.
Yeah, I'm just glad I haven't had any more surprise babies in my feed this week. Real talk. If you haven't
Hopefully
listened,
we did a cleanup.
if you haven't listened to that episode, go listen to breakups and you'll hear all about it.
Yeah, woof. Yeah, I mean, it would be interesting to hear another perspective of like somebody who would want to introduce somebody to their family quicker around the holidays. Because I personally just have zero insight to that.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think some people in general are more apt to I don't want to say like invest or display quicker, but like post someone on Instagram early on.
Yeah.
Like we have a friend who went out with a guy for the first time like two and a half weeks ago, and has been like posting him to her story.
Yeah.
Which is awesome, but just a very different, I feel like, style than you and I have.
Yeah.
But so I think when people are more apt to do that, then they're probably more likely to bring someone home. Or for people who, you know, just get bored at their family events. I mean, to be frank, right?
Yeah.
Some families are boring, man. Like, my family's cool as shit. But some families are boring. And so I think that for some people, having someone to just like hang out with at those things,
That's fair.
just like supersedes feeling any kind of, oh, well, if we break up next week, then my mom's gonna be asking me about him for 6 months.
Yeah, I'm with you. Or especially for people who don't need to travel.
That too.
I think that's a big thing.
Huge factor.
Yeah, which neither of us are worrying about right now. Like I'm like, I have to really like you if I'm gonna take you all the way to Florida and like either, you know, buy your plane ticket for you or expect you to buy a plane ticket to come hang out with my family. Which, I mean, my family is dope. I can definitely say going to Florida with me would be worth it. But that being said, speaking of a holiday, should I bring somebody home this year? For those of you who have not seen the Netflix original movie Holidating with Emma Roberts, first of all, I love her versatility going from American Horror Story to some cheesy rom-com. Michelle hasn't seen it. I think it's hilarious. But basically, this girl and this guy are just, they don't go on dates like on normal days. They only meet up on actual holidays. And so they end up dating, like they're together, quote unquote, for like at least a year throughout the film. But they only ever see each other like Thanksgiving, Halloween, Christmas, even like the smaller holidays like St. Patrick's Day and stuff like that. But so we wanted to ask you guys, just with that being like kind of relevant, if you would ever enlist a holiday. And 39% of people said no. Or no, wait, 39% said great idea. And then 61% said no thanks.
So this is really interesting. Hi, honey. Would you like to record with us?
I can literally hear him licking. Oh God.
This is my life. This is why on a first date I'm always like, how do you feel about dogs? And like, oh, dogs are fine isn't an appropriate reaction. They have to be like, oh, I love dogs. I wish I could have one. But like, you know,
yeah.
I don't know. But so Holiday's interesting. I feel like I'm the type of person that would totally be into this. And every time I've had an opportunity, I don't. Does that make sense? Like
Yeah.
this, like taking someone and just being like, yeah, this is Tom from Tinder. Like he's gonna, like, welcome to the shit show. He's here for our company party. But every opportunity that I've had for something like that, I don't. So I think that's an interesting thing for me. I want to say it's, I mean, with work parties or it's like with weddings, right? I feel like there's.
I think weddings was part of their arrangement too.
Yeah, I saw. That was a different movie, but they just went to weddings together.
Honestly, all rom-coms are the same.
I don't watch them. But I don't know. I think if you work for a huge company and maybe you don't have a lot of like work friends or something like that, or everyone that you're friends with at work is coupled up. So when you go to the party, it's gonna be like you and a couple talking and then you and a couple talking.
Yeah.
I totally see where this is like applicable. But if you work for a smaller company and everybody knows that this is like some guy that you met on Tinder last week, I feel like that creates a different, my coworkers would love it. They would be so stoked, but you know, we're a like smaller company. And I don't know, I feel like I'm just very open about like dating and stuff with them. So everyone would just like think I think everyone would think it was hilarious. Yeah.
I have a friend / coworker, who's married, and he's always like, Marie, like, how's that dating life? Or like, oh, are you still like not in a relationship and not in a relationship with so-and-so? And like, what's going on here? And I think he would be really entertained, especially now we're both working for like a smaller, I met him working at GoDaddy. We're now both working for a startup. So if we were to have a Christmas party, which I don't think we are this year, he would definitely expect said person to like be there.
Interesting.
Yeah, or if I just brought a rando and I was like, oh yeah, this is Joe from Hinge and we met yesterday. This is actually our first date. Like, oh my God, I'm sure he would lose his mind and he would just like harass the guy.
I just like can't imagine taking a first date to
anything.
Well, I made this mistake with Tinder Adam.
Yeah.
And I took him to a Halloween party, which is a very low, like, chill.
Very low stakes.
Low stakes, very chill environment. And he, like, really fucked it up. So I'm like, you know, like, taking someone to my, like, if I would have taken him to my company party.
Oh my God.
And he was just, like, talking trash and wasted and, like, farting on people. Like, how do you show up to work on Monday and then have to like write a handwritten apology letter to everyone that had interacted with the person?
I'm sorry my date farted on you.
God.
All the best.
Boys are dumb.
Whoa.
So what do you think is a situation that you would want a holiday in? Like, where do you think is a situation, and for holiday, let's say like this is someone that you're not actively dating, right? They're basically just a filler.
I think like a company party would probably be like one of the only things, or like if I, you know, oftentimes I do Thanksgiving here, and if I were to go to like a Friendsgiving, actually not even like a real Thanksgiving, I would take them to a Friendsgiving and I would just let my friends have at him. I used to do this, like I called it hazing, which sounds really bad. But like I would go out with a guy a couple of times and then he would meet like, you know, 4 or 5 of my closest friends and just I would see if he could hang, and this would be like date number 2 or 3. So it would be something like that. But otherwise, I mean, I don't know. I'd rather just kind of go and be myself.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I'm curious too. Let's see, what were the numbers there? So 61% said no, 40%. Mm-hmm. It's really interesting. I wonder if the 40% would take them to like a family thing, or it's more so just like, oh, a holiday thing that I was like invited to, or like I'm invited to by acquaintances or something like that. I
mean, I could see, or like a friend holiday party or something that I could see. But if your family is, like you mentioned earlier, like really hounding on you for like, where's your boyfriend? Why aren't you married? Like blah, 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 blah. And you literally just want to show them that like you're fucking trying. Like,
okay, let's
talk
about this though. So Danielle in a 68 really would love for me to be like married with children now.
I'm sure my mother would too.
But
For me, not you.
But if I brought someone to, let's say she was like in town and we just did like a holiday dinner or even just a dinner, she would then be like obsessed with that person and asking me questions for weeks after. So it just like makes the problem worse. But maybe other families aren't like that.
I was gonna say, like, just because you're having like it might be one of those things like where every time you get into a relationship, your mom shuts up. You know what I mean?
Maybe I should just get into a fake relationship.
I think you need a fake relationship more than you need a holiday. But also, I don't want to promote lying to Danielle Hannah 68 because I feel like
we would never.
I feel like the wrath would just be very unbearable.
We would never. Sorry, Mom. I know she's watching on YouTube. She's gonna be watching on YouTube, so we would never. We won't lie to you.
Sorry, I hit the mic trying to wave at Mom. I'm still not used to this whole camera thing. You want to go for it as we awkwardly pause when we're looking. For those of you who also can't see, we're like looking at the screen on the computer. So we also wanted to know for those who are in relationships or have been in relationships for the holidays, how you decide, like how you split the time between the families. Like, what does that look like for you, Michelle, especially because, you know, you and I both come from divorced families, which adds a layer of complication.
Yeah. And like I said, like I have two.
Luna's growling at that.
Is she growling or snoring?
No, that was a growl.
Oh, okay. She's laid out on the couch. So in the past, in my LTR, as they're called, long-term relationship, so we both came from divorced parents. I mean, we were both like really close to like our parents, and they all lived, with the exception of my mom and stepdad, they all lived within like the area essentially.
So it was like that movie Four Christmases.
Literally. And I doubt they're listening, but if they are, shout out to Lisa and Chuck. I miss you guys. Tear. But so basically, my ex and his sister had an agreement where they would swap like every other Christmas at their mom's and their dad's. Mm-hmm. And my family, or not Christmas, sorry, Thanksgiving. Let me be clear here. Thanksgiving. Okay. And my parents, like Thanksgiving just wasn't like a huge deal for them. Mm-hmm. And so I would just go with the flow and we would just do his families, and then we'd usually end up like back at my mom's if she was in town or something like that. But it just wasn't a massive deal to like miss Thanksgiving at my dad's.
I think that's interesting because some families do make a bigger deal out of Thanksgiving than others. Like, I mean, especially on my mom's side of the family, her siblings were all out of state, even when we were living in the Midwest. So we never really did anything with her side of the family. And then my dad's family literally all lived within 30 to 45 minutes of each other. So it was always my dad's family for Thanksgiving. Mm-hmm. And I mean, they still, like, my cousin messages me every year right around this time. And she's like, Marie, are you going to come up for this Thanksgiving? And I'm like, girl, I told you it's cold up there.
It's so far.
I'll be back in the summer.
Yeah.
When it's warm.
Totally. But so Christmas is a different story. Mm-hmm. Like both families hardcore Christmas. And for me, Christmas, like, it really is like a really important time for family. And I think even more so, like, after my parents got divorced, I just had like very specific like traditions. Like I think last year was literally the first Christmas Eve that I didn't spend the night at my dad's house. Aww. Since ever.
Wow.
So, because I was in Austin, I just moved to Austin.
Did you stay here last year for Christmas?
Yeah, I was just here solo.
Aww.
I mean, yeah, it was kind of sad.
Even the Grinch does have feelings sometimes.
Aww. But so basically, once we were like more serious, I was like, my ex would go with me and like stay at my dad's. So we would typically like stay at my dad's Christmas Eve, Christmas morning, we would bounce from like either his dad's to his mom's or his mom's to his dad's. And then if my mom was in town, we would also do that. So one year we started at my dad's house, went to his dad's house, went to his mom's house, went to my mom's house. So we did 4 Christmases. On Christmas Day,
Woof.
we were on a fucking schedule. I am not joking. I had to be like, okay, cool. We like ate a meal, we did stockings, we did presents. All right, babe, we gotta go. Like we gotta get in the car.
That stresses me out.
It was a lot. It was a lot. And there are so many people that do that, you know, but it's, you know, yes, you're exhausted, but it's quality time with family. And it's also hard to like pick and choose and be like, no, you actually got Christmas Day and you don't.
Yeah. So for Christmas, my mom's side of the family, like, and even still, like, we really focus on Christmas Eve. That's kind of always been, like, that's when we go to church. That's when we open presents. And then Christmas morning, we'll open, like, stockings. And then we go to the movies. And even before my mom remarried my stepdad, we were still going to the movies on Christmas Day with, like, when we would be out and we'd go to Iowa to visit my grandma. And so my mom and my dad never really, I don't know, they must have had some kind of agreement, because my dad's family would always do a big progressive dinner. And they would do that usually the weekend before Christmas, or if Christmas fell on a weekend, it would be the weekend before that. So it was like I never really worried about like, oh, where do we go? Or like we're doing all of these different things. It's always just been kind of like a chill 2 days or so, because we're like staying at home. And I think that's just because my mom doesn't like running around.
Yeah, so that's interesting. So for me growing up, like Christmas at noon is when I like got dropped back up at my mom's house.
Oh,
so
man.
Christmas Eve was always with my dad. Christmas, like early Christmas morning, like I would set alarms for like 6 a.m.
Oh god.
So we could like maximize the amount of time before we had to drive an hour and go home.
You were that kid.
Oh yeah. Well, and part of it like just keeping with the schedule.
Yeah.
Like, you know, so that's really interesting. Like having such a like chill, such different, you know. But I
mean, the only thing that was kind of regimented was that progressive dinner, but that was, my dad's family is like so just, you know, chillax about it too. So it would just be like, okay, well, you know, we're hungry for the like we started appetizers. Okay, well, like we're ready for the actual meal now. We'll migrate. and then everybody just leaves and like goes together and shows up at the next place. So it was just like, okay, all right, time to go. Yeah, it was kind of bizarre, but it was really fun. I have good memories with those progressive dinners.
Shall we read some of the answers we got from our folks?
Yeah, we did get a few people that said it's not a problem based on just family issues.
I was going to say dynamics, but also issues.
Yeah, dynamics, issues, whatever, potato. And then other people that do kind of like choose whether it's Thanksgiving or Christmas and don't usually do 4 Christmases in one. And I think a lot of it, just based on what we were reading, has to do with like who's got family locally and who doesn't. Do you have anything? Let's see, what else?
I like this response. Split Thanksgiving and Christmas, but plan so you are going to the better of both families' events. I love that. Was that?
Yeah.
I think that might have been my friend Heather, but
No, I think it was, yeah.
But so I love that because it's such a good point, right? Like some families probably just have a crazy fun Thanksgiving, but Christmas is either, you know, just different,
or they're Jewish,
or they don't celebrate Christmas. I've never dated anyone Jewish, I don't think. We haven't gotten there. But I love the idea of like, okay, you know, we have such a good time doing Christmas this way, and we prefer Thanksgiving this way, or like Christmas Eve, this tradition, like kind of just picking what you vibe with most.
I love that. Yeah, I think that's like a great tip. And then also our dear friend T-Mac, I'm not in charge. I was like, this is so good. I'm not in charge. Just sit me next to your grandparents and you the booze.
I love it. It also wouldn't be an episode if we didn't mention Dad, Bod, or T-Mac.
Yeah, very true. or of course Mom, but.
Or yeah, well, always.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's kind of any other points.
It seems like the general consensus was you just figure out how to split it based off of like distance and priority.
Yeah, and just with every situation being different.
I was gonna say it's a spectrum, but it's not really. It's just called being, oh my god, compromising?
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Are you good at that?
It's been a long week, y'all. I've had
it's
a long
Tuesday.
week. I've been working hard this week.
True.
Mom will love this.
Actually, I want to do that one last.
Okay.
How will the holidays look different this year? We have to talk about this.
Yeah.
Because this year is obviously a shit show. We all know. And I think it is kind of interesting to just see kind of how people are going to perceive things. It seems like overwhelmingly most people were saying like this is going to be very socially distanced. We're not going to see as many people.
Yeah, I mean, I think, and it's depending on where you are in the U.S., depending on physically where you are, depending on your circumstances, depending on like the rules in your state, depending on your level of COVID caution, and all of those other things. I mean, and there's like other like how available is testing in your area, things like that. It's really, we're all kind of living in the same but different worlds, which is really interesting. But I think a lot of people in general are just foregoing any sort of like events or travel.
Yeah. I know my friend coworker Cam, he was telling me that this is actually going to be the first Thanksgiving he gets to spend with his dad in like a decade.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because his dad has been overseas. And so he was just telling me, he's super excited and they're all coming, he's hosting. But when I say they all, I think it's like 5 other people in addition to like him and his wife. And so they're all coming from the same house, which he was like, because he's being very cautious. So he's like, yeah, no, this is actually, for what we're doing and for given the circumstances, this is actually like probably the best way that we could spin it. And he's like, and I got a COVID test like early just to make sure because his dad's a smoker. So he's like, I just want to make sure I'm not putting anybody else at risk. And so yeah, they're doing like everything that they can, but they're still able to actually like have a small family get together, which I think is really nice. And like I'm gonna go up to Fort Worth and hang out with my cousin for a little bit. But I mean, usually, honestly, I don't usually do much for Thanksgiving. It doesn't really matter to me very much.
Yeah, I feel like the years I did the most were like back when I was younger, and my mom definitely like loved to host, and she has a huge family. So when she would host, I lived there. So.
So you didn't have a choice?
I was a part of it. No, it's always good times. Once it started migrating to some different family members' houses, and I just got kind of older and doing more of my own thing, I went last to the extended family thing. What was my point with that? Oh, Thanksgiving. Yeah, Thanksgiving's an interesting one. But I talked to one of my friends, and I felt kind of bad because she basically, her and her boyfriend have been like fully quarantined. The only contact they've had with other people is literally like food delivery or like grocery delivery. They've been fully quarantined. They are supposed to go see his family. And by family, I mean like literally just his parents. They're just going to stay at like their house. And I guess she is just feeling a lot of pressure from the people that are kind of like travel shaming or like COVID. I don't want to say like COVID shaming, but the people that are like, if you do this, this or that, like you're a piece of shit. Yeah.
Well, the shaming and the canceling culture is just that's what makes me really sad about all of this.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And it's just like, yes, of course, because I saw a post about this earlier too, and it's like, yeah, of course, tests are not 100% accurate, and there's all of these other factors.
Sure.
But at the end of the day, like the level of risk of them after already quarantining and getting tested before they go, yes, like moving through an airport, yes, there's a risk involved.
Yes.
but then like once they get there again, same thing, they're gonna see literally 2 people. I was like, it was just really heartbreaking because she was so conflicted about it, and in I was just like, you need to make the decision that's best for you, but like it sounds like you're being as careful as you can be.
Yeah.
And it sounds like just like going and seeing some family and like getting a hug is gonna be very, very good for you.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I guess one of the responses was just distanced, but they didn't really specify if they're like just not going or if they're doing like a socially distant event where they're keeping 6 feet, not having households interact.
Which I have heard of some people trying to figure that out. Things that at least for the people that are down south where it's warmer, it's more possible, I think, to do something like outdoors, open air, socially distanced. I've also heard a lot of people doing things over Zoom.
Yeah, I think Zoom, well, I don't know if you saw, and if y'all don't know, so Zoom, if you have a free account, normally has this is not sponsored by Zoom, by the way. So Zoom has a 40-minute limit on video calls for free accounts.
Yeah. Because
typically most people want an hour, so they're gonna pay for it. But on Thanksgiving, if you have a free Zoom account, they're actually removing the time limit restriction.
That's all. I did not know that.
Yeah, and
that's awesome.
I'm like, that makes my heart really happy. But
yeah.
just basically, they're just like encouraging, like, hey, like you can use Zoom, you can be on a call. Because I mean, I've done happy hours on Zoom for like 3 hours. I've been talking to people, and so. If you didn't know that, I think we should like post that too, just so people know.
Totally.
But yeah, they're removing that, so you can at least not feel like, oh, okay, they have to pay for an account or that. You can actually spend like a longer Thanksgiving with your fam.
Yeah, I mean, I did that for Easter this year. It was actually really nice because I don't usually get to see my my nephews and niece. And so it was cool because we got to Zoom in with them. They live in Jacksonville, Florida. So I got to see like my mom, my stepdad, and then they were like in and out and coloring and like doing things. They were really little. So doing all the things that little kids do. But it was nice because I'm like, I've never actually spent a holiday with them. So I think there is a little bit, at least we have technology, there's a little bit of a bright side to like, getting to see people that maybe usually don't always come out.
Yeah, and I will say too, I have a Facebook portal. Thanks, Mom.
Yeah, I hate Facebook.
I know you hate Facebook, but okay, here's what I'm gonna say about the Facebook portal and relevant to the holidays. It's a little bit creepy, but the camera like tracks you and tracks your sound, which is like, okay, that sounds creepy.
Yeah.
And all the commercials are them like baking in a kitchen. It actually really does that. So if you want to, I'll send it to you. Like the commercials for Facebook portal show someone like cooking.
Okay, but it doesn't cook for you. For some reason, the way you said that, I was like, wait, it also is a robot?
No, but doesn't that sound perfect for me?
Yeah, it does. It's like Smart House.
Yeah, I have actually seen that movie.
I'm so proud of you.
So the Facebook portal, they're actually pretty inexpensive as far as like a video little internet device. But it is really cool because I'm a mover when I talk, and it's really easy for me to like jump on a call with Mom while I'm like making dinner or cleaning the kitchen or just doing different things, and you can still engage and they can still hear you, and you can be moving about, whereas with obviously just like a laptop or an iPad stood up, it's really,
you have to sit there.
So that's something I would say if you are planning to do like video calls over the holidays, I would highly look into it. I think they're running, of course, some like deals right now, but I'm just saying.
I mean, Black Friday, Cyber Monday are both coming up too.
Yeah, I'm just saying it's actually a really cool way to be able to engage at like a slightly more like 3-dimensional level.
Yeah, I mean, that's just honestly, I think if nothing else, everything that's happened with this pandemic, like we've really started using technology, I think, in a way that's a little bit more beneficial to like fostering relationships and like actually maintaining them, which is really nice. There are definitely still a couple of people that, to get back to some of the results, like people that are saying like things are kind of business as usual. I think especially for people that live a little bit more locally, maybe aren't higher risk. And the other thing too, I think this is also from Heather, socially distanced, masks for family who are strict, but also more time with her and a boyfriend, which I think is really nice too. Like you're looking to focus on those relationships that are like literally right there too.
Yeah, and with that situation too, her parents are still together and are pretty local to where they live.
Mm-hmm.
His parents are split, and one set is in Houston, and the other set is in, I think, Spokane, Washington.
And they're based in Portland.
So they've got kind of like them trying to split, and they again similar situation. Like they're very close to like all of their family, and so they definitely like they map out their holidays 3 months in advance.
Oh my god!
I love you, Heather.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, my family is fully quarantined too. My mom and my stepdad are, my brother's staying in school right now. But, I know I'm, like I did before in August when I went down there, I'll be taking a COVID test, I'll be quarantining, and then I'm driving because I don't want to deal with the airports. There's been some photos going around on social media, like the crowds at the airports already this week. And I don't like crowds to begin with, so it just gives me anxiety.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I feel like someone was telling me, maybe this was yesterday, someone was telling me that they actually saw that people, like, the number of flights booked were increasing the more that media was, like, saying not to, and the more that, like, rules are locking down, which I think is kind of weird, but...
people are naturally oppositional sometimes, I think. I know
yeah.
I am.
Let's go to our last question.
Oh yes. I'm like, oh, we have another one. So I like that. I purposely posed this. Jesus, Blue. I post this because so when you talk about love languages and gift giving or receiving being a love language, it's not high on my list.
Okay.
So I struggle even just coming up with a gift idea for friends. Not to mention if I am in a relationship or seeing somebody, it gives me so much anxiety to be like, do I buy them a gift? If I buy them a gift, what do I buy them? How much money do I spend? And checking all those boxes. So we asked you guys if you have any gift giving tips for people. It can be stressful. I'm sorry, I'm a little anxious, but actually the first thing, I think this is your aunt that said it, gift cards. Which I think is a really, honestly, I try to avoid gift cards sometimes for family, but I think that would be a great idea for a significant other that maybe you know where they shop, but don't really know too much else.
I feel like if it were a really personalized gift card, so for example, if you know that they are a big lifter, giving them a Rogue or bodybuilding.com gift card, or if you know that they're super into, I don't know, candles.
I was gonna say maybe if it's something that you don't know much about. So for example, your boyfriend is really into hunting. You can get him a Cabela's gift card because maybe he needs some new
hunting gear.
I was gonna say, I'm what is it that they wear?
Camo.
Yeah. Maybe they need some new camo, but you don't know. You could probably figure out their size pretty easily, but don't know which brands, or even there's so many different styles of camo. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, I definitely think as long as there's a level of personalization to it, to be honest, I would probably, from a significant other, I'd probably rather not get a gift than have them give me an Amazon gift card. Do you know what I mean though? Because it's just it feels a little
you can get this for anyone.
Yeah, and it just feels a little bit oh shit, I had to get you something, here it is. Whereas again, something more specialized, gift cards are interesting. I think they're good. They're just, when it comes, I think I just think about when it comes to being in a serious relationship, I feel there's
so many other options.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd do it for somebody that I'd been seeing for a while unless I specifically knew he's, I don't know why I keep using this hunting example, but if he's a hunter and he wants a specific rifle or something, I'm not gonna drop, those things are hundreds of dollars.
Yeah.
And I'm probably not gonna be, my mom only spends $100 on me every holiday. So I'm probably not gonna go higher than that. or at least not much higher. And so like I would be like, okay, like this is my contribution to like your new rifle or whatever.
Yeah, I think that's totally fair. One year my parents got my ex, my stepdad and my ex had the same tattoo artist. So they knew he wanted like a really big expensive piece, and they got him a gift card to like go towards that.
That's awesome.
And it's like, it's personalized, and it's like you said, they're trying to make a bigger purchase and just kind of like helping them get towards that.
Yeah.
So I think that makes a ton of sense. And if it's like, again, if it's like a newer thing, I think people get the anxiety over like, are they gonna get me something? Am I a dick if I'm not prepared to give them something? That, and I think it creates like a stress of, I don't want to be the one that like didn't show up when they did. And that's where people get really like wrapped up in it. But I feel like with it, and we'll go through more of these too, but for me, it's just more of like, if I'm dating someone and I'm super into them, and I'm probably going to see something that I'm like, oh, they like, this is so good, like they're gonna love this or something like that. So I think that's interesting. But I think gift cards, if you're going to give a gift card, just personalize it to something that you know is like they're trying to buy or they're interested in, or is like just a little more relevant than just like, again, an Amazon gift card.
Yeah. Like that's what our friend Kristen said. Pay attention to what people like and need. Also added, is this actually hard for people? Yes, Kristen, this is hard for me.
I bet she's a really good gift wrapper too.
Oh yeah, did you see she sent us all, because she just got engaged, so I'm gonna be one of the bridesmaids. She sent all of us like a little gift box and mailed these gift boxes that were already pre-wrapped. She's incredible. This is actually this bracelet.
That's so cute.
That was in it. Yeah, she did. I love her.
I'm excited for your outfit for it, because it's probably not going to suck.
Oh no, it's really cute. I'll show you later. I'm actually ordering it on Monday.
But yeah, I mean, paying attention is definitely important. And I think too, if you are in like a long-term relationship, paying attention early. So just like starting to listen potentially a couple months before the holidays, so you're not scrambling, and just like paying attention to what are the things that this person is talking about. If you are like in a...
Can you get that away from him?
Sorry, babe. If you're... Go find something else to chew on. If you're, maybe like, especially like this year, right? So maybe your partner is struggling a little more financially, but they have something that they've been talking about and want, but they can't really justify getting, but you can get it and like gift it to them. You have to be a little careful with that. Yeah. Because that can get weird. People can get weird about that stuff.
Especially as a girl going to a guy, I feel like guys can get a little on edge.
Yeah. But I think that's something just to keep in mind. Just be listening, and if you have no idea, I think that goes into a good one. Oh, did we not? Let's see.
Pay attention, gift cards.
Oh, I thought maybe this was mine. Just ask them was one that I got. Like, just ask them.
That's what, it's new relationship, don't stress. Small stocking stuffers are perfect. Ask the person what they want, or if they want something in particular instead of guessing. The other thing I thought was really great about that tip in particular was just because, especially if it's a little bit newer, you're also alleviating some of that stress of like, are we giving gifts at all? Which I think, like, to me, that's a big thing that's in the back of my mind. I'm like, oh, okay, like if I am gonna get in something, like how much do I spend? What do I want? But then I also stress, if he were to ask me, I'd be like, do I tell him I want the Apple Watch, or do I just say like chocolates or something? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is. I think it's really tough. And it's also, where was I going with this? Oh, like, so one thing to think about too is just like more experience based. So obviously, again, a little different this year, but 1 year with my ex, we were like, hey, let's not do, like, we can do like a small thing to open whatever, it's Christmas morning, but it's like, let's not do gifts. Like, let's take whatever money we would have spent and like go spend a weekend in Hood River. Yeah. Like, let's go do something, or let's go to like a bougie dinner instead. But this also, what you were saying about kind of like types of gifts kind of triggered some like a story of like a family example. No, it's not my relationship, but so my dad is Mr. Practical.
Okay.
He is Ron Swanson. Like
love it.
He's currently building a shed on his property. He's like sending me photos of his project.
Bacon above all else.
And he's really practical. And my stepmom's very practical as well, but she just has had like just certain like nice things that she's liked. So for example, she has a beautiful big ass fucking ring. Like they live very modestly, but she had been eyeing this ring for I think like 6 or 7 years or something. And my dad, like practical Paul, his name's not Paul, but
oh, that'd be perfect.
Responsible Robert.
Oh, love it.
I might have to send him this episode. I don't know. I just broke it to him that we have a podcast.
I don't think I've told my dad yet, actually.
Yeah.
I don't think my dad knows what podcasts are, though.
Maybe I'll send it to him. But he's just like, again, he's just very practical. Typically, my gifts from him have been like computer, like, or something related to like computer or like school, like, technology function, just more practical stuff.
Socks.
Always socks.
The most practical gift you can
and
get.
I think it was maybe it was 2 years ago, because I wasn't there for, this last Christmas was a little unique, but I think it was like 2 years ago. I was talking to him and he's like, yeah, I'm on my way to the jewelry store. I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, he's like, don't say anything, but Kathy's been looking at these earrings that match her wedding ring. He's like, for like a year or 2 years or something. Because again, they're just very fiscally responsible.
And she's not just gonna go drop that money.
And and he's like, yeah, so, got a bonus, blah, blah, whatever. I was like, I'm gonna get him.
Aww.
And I was like, really? And he's like, yeah. And which is also funny because she gets him gifts like a table saw, which is like perfect for like fucking perfect for my dad. But it's just really funny, like their whole dynamic is really cute. But like Christmas morning when she opened she was so shocked and blown away because and my point there is like it was something that like my dad, I think it was like a little hard for him to like spend that, but he knew the impact and like how important it was for her that he would like just spoil her with that. And so that was one of those like big moments where it's like, oh, it's so cute.
It's nice to be spoiled every once in a while.
I feel like I'm always spoiled.
Well, that's because you have Danielle and Hannah 68.
It's true. But yeah, so I think that's just, it's just kind of an example of thinking about like, okay, what is like really valuable and important to this person that's very valuable and important to me.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's one of the things like why I like struggle, because I'm like, I don't know, and I'm like, I tend to show people like I'll like do things, and I'm like the acts of service person when it comes to those love languages. Like I'll do something for you, but like also obviously like I know gifts this time of year are like a fucking thing. So, but it's just something that I think is stressful. Do you not find it stressful? Am I just the psycho over here? Everybody else thinks gift giving is easy.
I feel like the last time I was in a serious relationship, it was pretty easy because we were both like heavily involved in the gym, and there's like always equipment or gear or stuff that's like relevant and at like varying price points. So it was pretty much always like 1 year I got like lifting shoes, 1 year I got like a duffel bag, so but
that's kind of how me and one of my exes were too, because we both ran together.
Oh, right.
So it was the same thing. It was like I got like new running shoes every year, and he worked at a track shop, so he got a discount.
But that's still like a personalized, relevant gift.
It was, yeah, and he would purposely pick the colors that he knew I would like, and blah blah blah. But
yeah, I think if you're in a new relationship, and I guess we use relationship loosely, but like if you're let's say if you're casually dating someone. Again, and I feel like we always default to this, just have the conversation. I feel like it's It's better to have the conversation. Or on the flip side, like if you feel compelled to get someone something, just get it for them and don't worry about if they aren't getting something back for you.
Yeah.
Like if you're just excited to like get them something and see them open it and be like, oh my God, I got this for you. Like,
yeah.
But don't do it with the expectation that they're doing the same thing, because maybe they're on a different page, maybe they didn't think about it, maybe they're financially strapped. So I think
or
that's...
maybe they're really bad gift givers.
Also that.
What's the best like Christmas gift you've been given by a significant other?
It's probably a tie between my Kong duffel bag and my lifting shoes. Both were like highly relevant. I mean, they're still relevant now, but like both were like highly relevant at the time.
Yeah.
And
well, and a duffel bag is an investment too.
Well, and this is like a very specific duffel bag. It's like, I'll show you later, but it's, if you're not familiar with Kong duffel like bags, they're like made for lifters. They have like 2 different pockets for your different shoes that you need for different lifts.
A different Kong than like the dog toy though.
Correct. Different brand.
Okay.
But yeah, so those, because they were just like, they were so relevant, and they were things that I had been looking at buying for myself for months and just couldn't like pull the trigger on.
Yeah.
So they were really thoughtful.
Yeah.
What about you?
My ex got me, and this was like a total, I think that this was birthday. Yeah, this was my birthday present, but he got me he had a friend who worked on like movie sets, and he was like heavily involved in the film industry, and he pulled some strings and got me the necklace that Hermione wears in the 7th Harry Potter movie.
Like the
actual... Or no, the 7th or the 8th, when she's at the wedding.
The actual necklace?
Yeah, they use multiple props. I'm like grabbing this is not the necklace.
I still wear it to this day.
I do actually. I don't wear it often, but they have like multiple like different ones that they have like 3 usually that they like alternate through. I'm not sure why people do that in the film industry, but they do. But yeah, it's one of them.
That's
obviously like me being a Harry Potter nerd, and it was interesting because it's like it's something very small that you might not recognize right away. It's not like her dress that she wore, because it's a small necklace. But yeah, that was probably, he did good.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. Well, we're still friends.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess any other thoughts about dating during the holidays? I feel like we covered the things that were most top of mind for sure.
Yeah.
I think there's definitely a lot of different experiences between being freshly into a relationship or single, casually dating, early, fresh relationship, long term. This year is obviously very, very, very different.
Any advice for people?
For holidays or?
Yeah, for the holidays.
This sounds really stupid, but like, chill. So, what I mean is like, it's really, really easy to get wrapped up in, oh my God, there's so much pressure to do this. I have to do these events and this, that. And so one thing is like, feel comfortable saying no to things you're uncomfortable with.
Amen.
If you get invited to someone's so again, hypothetical, virtual or non, if you get invited to someone's company or family party and you really don't want to go, or you're not ready to go, like feel comfortable saying that, say no to that. If you have an event and you feel obligated to invite someone, but you don't really want to, don't. Reduce, I just mean like reduce and relieve some of that overall pressure.
Totally.
No, I don't think anyone's gonna break up with you because you didn't take them to your company party, unless you take like somebody else. Unless you like you take your ex instead of your current boyfriend. Yeah, that's probably an issue.
That's a little fucked up.
But I think just having give yourself a little space, especially like this year has been really fucking hard.
Yeah.
For everyone in different ways, and this is a really intense time. And I think especially for the people who aren't going to get to see family at all, or who aren't going to get to travel at all, or who aren't going to get to actually have like a proper Thanksgiving or a proper Christmas, just understand that this is going to be a really hard time, and give yourself a little space with whatever you need and wherever your like comfortability is. And
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I just realized we have not even touched on New Year's.
I think, oh shit, I think that could, maybe that's
I mean,
a future episode.
that's considered the holiday season. Yeah, I mean, maybe we do another one for that, but it's...
Maybe we do like a Thanksgiving, Christmas wrap up. We find out how people celebrated those, and then we talk about New Year's.
I like it, and if you guys have any thoughts on that, please slide into our DMs. Because New Year's, just if we're not able to really have parties, is gonna look a lot different this year.
Yeah, I don't know. New Year's is such a big party holiday.
It is. Well, and it's such a big holiday for just having not even necessarily a significant other, but like somebody to kiss. Like the kiss on New Year, like why? Also, why is that a thing?
Oh, we can do research. Let's do research.
We'll do research.
But also, I was just thinking
you do.
Also, I was just thinking that with COVID, just kissing people.
No, that's not a good idea right now.
Normally, I'm not saying normally everybody would kiss a stranger, but some people would kiss a stranger on New Year's. Definitely not me, would never.
No.
But it's you can't.
No, let's not do that this year. Let's be as safe as possible. To anybody listening, thank you, and also happy Thanksgiving. We are thankful for our followers and our listeners. All truthful, we love you guys. You're great. Thank you for responding to our polls. Any other info, feedback, whatever you want to give us, let us know at swipeinthecity@gmail.com. Swipeinthecity on Instagram.
Swipeinthecity on YouTube.
Swipeinthecity on Spotify.
We're on Twitter.
You also keep forgetting iTunes and Apple Music or podcasts. Apple Podcasts.
I wonder why. We're on Twitter. We don't do a lot there, but if we get engagement, we will.
Yeah, every once in a while we say something that we think might be funny.
We also, stay tuned to our Instagram. We have a couple things in the works, which we'll chat with. We'll chat with y'all later. I don't know. We have to run off now, and
we do. We have a meeting.
We have a meeting with one of our favorite people, Sammy from Wanderlust.
Yes.
As y'all have, I'm sure, heard over and over. So we are going to wrap again. Thank you so much. If you are on any of the channels where you can follow us, please do. Please leave us a review.
Review, subscribe, and share.
We count on you. We count on you sharing to help grow this little project of ours. So cheers, bitches.
Cheers. That was so echoey.
Dun, dun, dun.
Is it still going?
No.
It's still going.
Oh, I thought you paused it.